Greetings to you. It's Friday. Afro-Guyanese, can you stop abusing law enforcement? Afro-Guyanese, can you stop beating up the police? Can you stop that? There is a lot in the air. Apart from the Third World War, there is a whole lot in the air, much more important than draining Guyana of the Mohammeds, namely Azruddin and his corrupt father. Welcome to Uncensored Guyana. I am Dr. El Prasad. Black people, Guyanese mainly, can you stop physically abusing the people who swore an oath to protect you? Home Affairs Ministry, Home Affairs Minister, can you give the law enforcement under you the proper representation to protect themselves when executing their duties while on the job? Can you give them the coverage they need to perform their duties while at the same time protecting themselves? In other words, let them use whatever force necessary to subdue suspects and at the same time to tame aggression towards them. First, they were not allowed to patrol the streets with firearm. Now you give them firearm, but they can't use it to protect themselves. Minister of Home Affairs, Ms. Waldron, I will stand by this sentiment that Black people are sympathetic towards other Black people. It's not the same with other races. Black people are sympathetic towards other Black people. But when it comes to empowering the same Black people to uphold the law, they're not sympathetic where that's concerned. So I get it. The problem with criminals and crime, you've tried the one before. I forgot his name already. That's how irrelevant he was. The former Home Affairs Minister. He was Black. He did nothing to really stabilize the society and to bring this kind of embarrassment against police officers to a standstill. Not reduce it, stop it. Now we have a new Home Affairs Minister, a Black woman. A Black man couldn't fix it. We have a Black woman. And it continues. Ever so often, this is something that is entertaining to Black people. because nobody else, whether it's Chinese, Indo-Guyanese, Caucasian, nobody else enjoys seeing police officers being abused but black people. I know what I'm saying. Be it in America, Europe, blacks always celebrate, glorify, and shelter criminals when they abuse police officers. Because it seemed to be an internal struggle that blacks have accepting the fact that the police officers are there to protect them. They forever see police officers as the enemy. It seemed to be a genetic disorder amongst blacks. Everywhere. Do the research. Everybody else, every other ethnicity could be sympathetic, supportive, and respectful to law enforcement, but the black man. Why? Why? Because when you see a police officers, automatically you understand you need to correct your behavior, you need to correct your mindset, you need to understand that that person represents law and order, so you don't want to see them because your intentions as a black person is never to follow the law. So police officers are always a threat to a black man. Since that is the case, Home Affairs Minister in the Guyana context empower the police to use brutal force to subdue criminals. Don't let them walk around babysitting and criminals are aggressive towards them and they have to back off. And the more they back off is the more the criminals are pushing. And these police officers have weapons, taser, pepper spray, guns, but yet they have to exercise restraint. Why? Because they know the same law that gave them the badge would not protect them if they use the badge. More people need to join the force that are not black people. The psychology that the commission and the others use with the float, if it works to encourage non-blacks to join the force, you will have accomplished your mission. But whatever bullshit excuse you brought about why you did that, it's stupid. It shows the level of your incompetence. But if it's supposed to attract non-black to come to the police force, bravo. Let's see how effective it is. But in the meantime, black people, stop celebrating the abuse of fucking niggas on police officers. Stop celebrating it. Those same officers are the ones who come to save you, to protect your communities. Have some respect. We followed the Muhammad's case. We also followed the developments in the Muhammad's case. It's nothing interesting. We formed our opinions as to what's happening there. It's postponed again. So when the Muhammads tell you this is going to prolong for the next 5 years, we need to start believing them. We should start believing them. So don't think the next case would be D-Day. You have to now start saying, let's plan for the next 5 years. Because they already said it. They predicted their own future. And since they are in control of their present, they can say with all assuredness that is going to prolong until 2030. Then we have real problems. In the meantime, Try not to lose sleep, getting your hopes up that the next court date will be D-Day. It wouldn't. Let them surprise you. Say whatever. They're boosting it up to get attention. They're boosting it up to get attention. Whatever. When the court date comes, the next court hearing, the 12th of March, ignore it and wait for the news. If the news said, case closed, Muhammad's on their way out, then we're getting somewhere. But in the meantime, fuck it. All right? If you want to conclude that the magistrate is corrupt, then conclude that the magistrate is corrupt. So nothing good will come out of that. It will continue and continue and continue as long as the money keeps flowing. That's the perception Guyanese have, the 80% has, regarding the Muhammad's case and the magistrate. Magistrate Judy Latchman, that is what the Guyanese think. So until the Muhammads are on their way out, we can just say, whatever. All right? Don't be consumed by that nonsense. It's bullshit. I swallow and talk. Anyway, what is also bullshit? What is also bullshit is people are consumed by the weekly posting from this so-called opposition leader that he is following the court's order to show up at the Rijnveld police station every Friday, whenever, whatever date they give, the last Friday, whatever. How the fuck is that breaking news? How is that important? How is you going and showing up at the court as ordered by a magistrate with a question mark over her head supposed to make the Guyanese think that you, Azzuddin Mohammed, and your father are law-abiding citizens? The fact that you are before the court fighting extradition and was given a lousy bail, and you have to show up at a police station in your area to report that you are in the country, that by itself is all the evidence the Guyanese needed that you are a fucking hypocrite. And you are the last person to talk about law and order. The last person is because you are a hypocrite, a corrupt criminal, and Mr. Hanuman was right. The biggest criminal. You made Barnum look like a ghetto thug. Azzuddin, you make Forbes Barnum look like a ghetto thug compared to your crimes. The fact that you are the biggest criminal to date, you should be embarrassed to post that update on your page. You should try to have people forget as much as possible what you are faced with. It's not breaking news. It's depressing to see that this is the person these fucking niggas voted for to represent them, who is on his way out and at the same time must show up at a police station. Typical Negro culture, isn't it? Typical Negro culture. Take your passport, show up at the police station so we know you haven't fled the jurisdiction until your case is completed. People are impressed with that shit. That's the level of your low-life mentality, Azzuddin. That's the level of your mentality. Why show that? You should be happy if people forget about what you're dealing with. You keep reminding them. Show me the son, and I tell you the home he came from. Look at the family. The worst in Guyana's history. Nothing to celebrate. So keep your story hidden, and let's deal with what's before the courts. At the end of the day, we shall see what's the outcome. Now, I made notes because I have to make sure that I don't miss anything. I want to get everything in. But my main subject I'll address shortly. My main subject. What I will also say, Guyanese, if you know that you take care when you are using the roadways in Guyana, you have gone through the training, you have not bought your license, you follow the rules, you follow all that is required of a traffic user, then keep your emotions. When you see people, apart from the victims or the persons who become victims of the assholes who abuse the roadways, I understand. I'm digressing here now. I understand. You've lived in a country where you've experienced governments that had no impact on infrastructure. You just came out of 5 years prior to Ali of the PNC that had no interest in infrastructure. So you're used to damaged roads under the PNC. You're used to mud dams under the PNC. You're used to that. It happened too quick that Ali transformed Guyana into a modern and still on the way there with all these high quality roads, highways. It happened too quick. So before these assholes take the time to adjust to the newfound wealth and glory and pride, they want to test to see how fast they could go on these new roads that they've been driving on for the past 6 years. They're used to the mud dams, failing to understand that there are other people too using the roads. So when they use the roads and they damage the roads, and as a result of that, they cause accidents and they endanger the lives of citizens, extend your emotions to the victims, not the people behind the wheel who are the perpetrators. They don't deserve your mercy. Sometimes you want them to live so they can experience the punishment by the law. Those of you who are still sober and you're taking cognizance of what's happening on the roadways in Guyana, learn from that. Don't be an asshole. You're late for work is because you woke up late. Leave your house early. Let the bitch wait on you. Because if you're dead, she'll get another man anyway. Be careful on the roads, man. You're damaging infrastructure that costs billions that Guyanese like you must repay. If you hate the government that much, park your car and walk. Don't drive on the roads. Park your vehicle and walk. Then you say you hate the government, you're not going to partake on the development of the country. And when you're crossing the Barjagdia Bridge, don't cross the bridge. Get a paddling boat with a paddle and cross the Demerara River. Then you don't partake in the development of the country. Therein you have to damage it because of your hatred for what's happening. You hate to see the progress. Then fine. Don't be a part of it. Stay home. As a matter of fact, don't even take the cash grant. Don't take the crack cash grant. Refuse it because you don't want to be a part of it. You idiots. So I had this dream last night. I shared the dream I had with Kamala, the Prime Minister of Trinidad, and Priya Manikchan. I dreamt the two women on a journey, and they are accompanied by children. Kaleidoscope of colors, a rainbow. But it's like an ocean. You see the visual with an ocean and the children, but it's hard to make out. But the interpretation is an ocean of children. They had these large keys in their hands and the flags of their country, Trinidad and Guyana. The children were singing this music, this song that I couldn't understand, but it was vivid because I could make out Priya and Kamala. I can make them out, these two women. But what was even strange is that they had these beings besides them in purple. So I had to share it. And I asked AI, say, hey, interpret this for me. And it gave me quite an interpretation. Check out my Facebook page, you'll get it there. That is Kenneth Warner, Facebook. You'll get it there. But it was a great experience because coming to the reality of wanting to understand what this is all about, I pounced upon the speech of Kamala Prasad, and I also browsed the recent speech at the Guyana Parliament of Priya Manikchan. I said a while ago, last year, when all this thing was building up with Venezuela and the war and the US presence, I said from day one, I was with the United States. I'm supporting the initiative. I've said that from day one. I back it. I encouraged Guyana, even though I knew that Guyana stood with America. And I also made remarks about Trinidad's involvement and how Trinidad is the only country had Guyana's back. I said it months ago. And as you will know, I also criticized Caricom. And I said Guyana should leave Caricom. Guyana should close down the Caricom building in the East Coast there. I said that. I also said Guyana should get out of the CCJ. It's a waste of time. These are things I've said. Check the videos. You'll see. Months ago, since last year. I also clearly stated that Caricom, except for Trinidad, all the other Caricom countries are envious of President Irfan Ali. I'll even go further. They are jealous of President Ali, and they are bitter about the unique, massive transformation that Ali has brought to Guyana. They are jealous. It causes them to be insecure with their own population because their people are making comparisons and are telling them, look at Ali, look at Guyana, look at the development, look at that, look at this, and it in the fucking oil. It in the oil. Transformation started since with Jagdeo. Slow, but it was consistent, continuous. The oil just helped us to expedite it, just helped. But at the end of the day, it worked. So Caricom, all of these sham, shabby, fake love countries, they plotted, isolated themselves, designed their policies that was to the detriment of Guyana and Trinidad. This is why they were sanctioned by the US. This is why Barbados The frying fish, the land of the frying fish, I don't know if they eat it. That's why they were put on the blacklist by the US State Department. The only country that had Guyana's back was Trinidad. And trust me, if that Negro, Rowley, if he was still in government as the Prime Minister of Trinidad, Trinidad would have joined the other Caricom countries that hated and wanted to see the destruction of Guyana. It took a change of government for Guyana to have the support it needed. And it came from a woman, an Indian woman. You get it? Guyana owes a debt to Kamla Prasad. Guyana owes a debt to Kamla Prasad. She was willing to sacrifice the military of Trinidad to defend Guyana against the aggression of Venezuela, as you have seen. When Venezuela put Trinidad and Guyana in the same boat and threatened to annihilate both countries, nobody spoke out against it, except for America. All the CARICOM countries, zip, including Barbados, zip. And that hypocrite for a prime minister that Barbados has, or president of Barbados has, it's disappointing that she won again. Well, some people say it's rigged. I kind of believe that. I don't see any way how she could have won again in Barbados. She's not popular in the country. She won again. Anyway. The reason that I've stated before that CARICOM had an issue with Trinidad and Guyana is because CARICOM, most of the countries in CARICOM, the leaders and the governments are blacks, Africans, Negroes. Guyana and Trinidad have what is perceived as an Indian government, but it's not true. The presidents are of Indian descent, but the cabinet of those countries are mixed. But they're judging the country because of the two icons, President Ali and Prime Minister Kamla Prasad. And they put all the citizens under one umbrella, Indians. So these black countries, these fucking racist black countries in CARICOM, boycotted these two nations and backed off, withdrew support to leave them at the mercy of Venezuela. Thanks to Donald Trump and Marco Rubio and the American government, Guyana is safe and Trinidad is safe. So we should only have allegiance. Guyana should only have allegiance to the United States of America. Trinidad, Guyana, and the US. Fuck all the others. They are useless. Useless. And I stand behind that. Say what you want about the US. Say what you want about Europe. The people who have the back of Guyana are the Indians and the white people. The Indians and the white people. Yeah, they have all these labels they label me as. I don't care. Okay? Do I look like I care? I'm concerned about the future of the country. I'm concerned about the protection, the safety, and the longevity of Guyana. That's my concern. I don't care about your sentiments. The facts are the facts. All the Negroes that are enjoying the country right now, if it wasn't for the Indians, and the white people. Maduro would be still there, and he would have dominated, decimated Guyana. And who would have suffered? You Negroes. You would have suffered. So the fact that you are still there to live in a country that is vastly developed, despite that you could abuse the police, continue with your murderous rampage, with your crimes, your criminal activities, your drugs, your marijuana, your law-breaking attitude. The fact that you can do all of that is credited to the Indians and the white people. They are your saviors. Let's embrace the fact. So again, I reiterate, Ms. Prasad, the wonderful Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, on behalf of my nation, I thank you and your people, and I support your initiative to clean your country of those criminals. Capture them, lock them up, kill them, whatever you choose to do, I support it. I stand with it. Guyana must employ a similar strategy in dealing with those criminals in the country. Capture them, kill them, whatever means you can use, but rid your country, clean your country of the evil that has infiltrated. And Venezuela played a huge role in that, in exporting their criminals to help to destabilize governments on behalf of the opposition in those countries, namely the PNC. And in Trinidad, we have that loser. What's his name again? You know what his name is. That person. So, folks, I have to acknowledge that. When Trinidad and Guyana was under attack, Caricom abandoned Guyana and Trinidad. Please emphasize that. If you're thinking of going anywhere for vacation or to have whatever fun, choose to go to Trinidad, go to Guyana, or America. Go to the countries that has your country's back. Go to Israel. Go to India. These are countries that have your back. They want to see the best for you. Fuck all the others. They don't care about you. They want to see Guyana go down. They want to see Guyana controlled by criminals and gangs. They want that. They want the PNC back in office. Then they can rape the country, rob the country, and get away with their corruption, money laundering, drugs. You see how many drugs are being arrested right now? You see why the Mohammeds are nervous? Because after all their businesses are closed, I'm still waiting to hear from Suku about the illegal cambio business. I'm still waiting to hear from Suku. So maybe I have missed the news. Maybe I missed it. But weren't they supposed to have charges coming against the Mohammeds for the illegal operation? They're still waiting for the advice of the DPP as to what charges they can bring against the Mohammeds. What's going on there? You caught them red-handed. You caught them in the act. Why is it that they're only facing, extradition case? I get it. So Mohammed can kill somebody right now and he wouldn't be charged. After all, you don't want to interfere with the extradition case. Isn't it better if you can try him and get him for all these other crimes he has committed? Isn't it easy to just hand him over? He's already in your possession. He's already a property of the state. Isn't it easy to just hand him over? But you're forgiving him in all these crimes he's committing, and he's out to continue to commit more crimes. What are we doing here? Justice has to be served in a balanced way. You're comparing this sort of Bino guy. My fellow diners, like I said before, look around you and you will take into account where your country is. When I need to make remarks regarding how the government is conducting certain issues, I make remarks. I talked about salaries, right? I talked about the statistics. I talked about the crisis with housing, lands, job. I talked about that. But I can't spend every day dealing with salary increase. I dealt with it before. People are paying attention. They understand the concerns that Guyanese have. But the bigger concern that Guyanese have is public safety. If the police are not protected, they can't do their jobs. If the police are not protected, they can't do their jobs. So the government of Guyana must guarantee police officers, go and execute your job. Get the criminal. If the criminal approaches you in an aggressive way, take out your weapon. You must anticipate that a person is coming to harm you. You need to neutralize the threat. A gentleman approached me earlier today. I'll share this with you. And the gentleman said to me, oh, he's a black person also. He said to me that he had to leave Guyana during the time of Forbes Born. He and his family fled to Suriname. It's a long time ago. He said his children, they would go, because they like Guyana. He said, but Doc, he has never returned. He said he's never returned since he left. And it's right, he said it's just there. He says whenever he thinks of Guyana, that feeling is unearthed, it's resurrected. He says he feels this anger that he didn't have the necessary tools that he needed to get his own justice when he was under pressure back in the day. And do you know why he faced what he faced? Because he was a black man who was walking with Cheddi Jagan. And as a result of that, he was targeted, his family was targeted, and he had to run for his life, thanks to the Suriname people. He was rescued in Suriname, built a life. He's doing well, but the point is, because of Barnum, he never returned. Never. He's now a citizen here. A lot of you tend to forget that. Your children today have no idea because they're paying attention to the lies that are coming out of the Mohammed's camp, because nobody pays attention to the PNC anymore. So the PNC sends the information to Mohammed so he can get the attention of the young blacks in Guyana. And what is he pushing? PPP is corrupt. PPP is corrupt. Oh, this minister was living in a shabby house, and look, the minister's house now. That's all you're hearing. That's it. Corruption didn't massacre hundreds of people. Corruption didn't create mass exit of Guyanese. Corruption didn't or is not responsible for hundreds of thousands of Guyanese wanting nothing to do with a country they once loved. It wasn't corruption. It was a dictator who was murderous, evil, shameless, ruthless, who physically abused people and caused them to flee. So that's what this Indian guy who was found love in the black camp should focus on. If he really wants to win the black people over, he should remind them about a party that is still loyal to some extent, what that party did, not just to his ancestors, but to the good, decent black people like Walter Rodney and all the others who only wanted good for Guyana and wanted the elimination of the corrupt, murderous, demonic party of the PNC. That's all they wanted. And they suffered death for that. That's what, Muhammad, you should focus on. And you'll get a lot of sympathetic blacks to follow you. After all, you did say you're not going anywhere. So if you're not going anywhere, you need to have them to vote for you again in a local government election. Speaking of which, Priya Manikchan, when I talk, I have to pause. When I invoke her name, I want you to go back to YouTube and listen to her presentation in the parliament again. If you haven't yet done it, go listen to it. Make sure you have nothing to do. Don't be disturbed. Listen to it. Pay attention to that woman. Focus on her. Just as a person, just focus on her. See beyond the words she's speaking. And what you see in Priya Manikchan is a great leader. You see somebody who is not doing this because of what perks comes with the office. She's emotionally invested in her political career. She's spiritually invested in the mission that she's on. She believes that she can make a difference. She believes that that's the path she needs to go on. What I saw in Priya Manikchan, and I paid keen attention, is that this is a woman who would have done this for free. She would have done this for free, meaning she would have volunteered if it meant there was no payment attached to being a minister of local government. She would have just practiced her lawyer course and volunteer as minister. I see the same attributes in the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago seems like the person who will volunteer as president. She'll volunteer and say, you know what, I'll do it because I love my country. When they speak, there is no fakeness, no theatrics, no acting. It's pure. They seem like they want to cry when they speak. They get emotional. That ain't pretense. That is true patriotic values. It's like when Ali speaks. There's a difference with leaders who are made and leaders who are called. When you're called to be a leader, you're born with that providence. And at the right time, you're called forth. But it's something that has prepared you from birth. The universe puts you in positions that you stay on course. But when you are made a leader, then you have to go with whoever your sponsors are. You have to affix yourself to their values, to their agenda. But being born a leader and being called to leadership, all you hear are the cries of the people to whom you have been entrusted to lead. And when you listen to Priya Manichan, you look at her, the purity, the innocence. She herself is like a child who just wants to lead her children. It's a metaphor. I invite you to go back and watch her speech. This is what Guyana has to offer. A president who has already made mark and set the stage and continue to gain the admiration, the worship, the trust, and the confidence of the entire global hemisphere. Now we have Priya Manichan. I pray the universe deliver her into Guyana's future as the next president. I pray for that. I must also acknowledge and thank the Indian people for the grace and the respect they extended to Guyana's greatest politician, Bar Jagdeo. These people continue. The PPP, the People's Progressive Party, continues to produce the best. When they said your best is yet to come, when it comes to Guyana, Guyana's best is here. Priya Manichan, President Irfan Ali, Vice President Bar Jagdeo. Guyana's best is here. All we have to do as Guyanese is just to give them the support they need so that they can make the country great. Again, yeah, it was once great. When the colonials had it, it was great. We need a modern day greatness. And they can deliver Guyana into that. All they need is Guyanese to rally around that. Thank you, India, for extending the support, the love, and the respect to our greatest politician, Bar Jagdeo. And I also want to extend my deep appreciation for the support that India gets from Israel and India gave to Israel. We need the coalition. Guyana needs to be in the circle of the giants of this world so that Guyana can be kept safe, not just territorially safe, economically safe, morally safe, with countries that stands for law and order. We can't align ourselves with countries that makes no difference, that hates us. Israel loves Guyana, India loves Guyana, America worships Guyana. These are the countries we need to stand with, because these are the countries that has our back. So to Caricom and all the loser leaders that you have amongst you, we don't care about how you think about us. Guyana is an independent nation. And the fact that Guyana is not on the list of blocked nations from the US State Department, the fact that our president, Irfan Ali, and the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago are the only two leaders in Latin America that are invited, officially invited, to go to the security summit that has been called by Donald Trump himself. Only those two leaders will be at the White House to discuss regional security and other issues with the American president. That's a great achievement for those two leaders, President Ali and Prime Minister Kamala Prasad. Trinidad and Guyana should be proud of the leaders we have. If America can bow to your leaders to convene special meetings just for your leaders, what other evidence you need? to know that at this time in the history of your country, of your nation, you are alive to witness and experience that. It's something to celebrate. It's something to celebrate. So this is the time for Guyanese and Trinidadians to be blessed about and be happy about, because they are witnessing history with their two leaders, President Ali and Prime Minister Kamla Prasad. You need to be proud of that. Trinidad, I understand you have to deal with all these criminals, as well as Guyana. And the people who are destroying these two countries with crime are black people. Should I say niggas? They're the ones destroying Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana with crime, drugs, murder, robbery, name it, black people. Doesn't it bother you? As other Afro-Caribbean, doesn't it bother you? It's none of your business. You live in Trinidad, you live in Guyana, it's none of your business. So I'll say this. We celebrate that. I celebrate that. If Trinidad goes after their criminals and they kill them out, it's good for the nation. Don't jail them. Kill them. Sentence them to death. Get rid of them once and for all. Because if you jail them, they'll just go and get more education in prison. And after 5, 10, whatever years you give them, they'll come out and they'll be worse than they were before they went in. If they murder people, kill them. They commit robbery under arms, chop off their hands. Whatever the measurement of the crime they commit, give them, deliver to them the same measure of justice. Do that. Rid your country of these parasites. So when the Americans finalize their deal to have immigrants coming to the countries of Guyana and Trinidad, I would advocate no Negroes. You don't want too much black people around. I mean that. Because blacks are sympathetic towards black people. You're going to have a lot of blacks coming from Africa, Nigeria, and all these places because of they're deported from America and they come into your country, Guyana and Trinidad. You can't solve crime like that. The people you want more in your country are people who are not black. Okay? Chinese, from India, from Europe, from the Middle East. You need those kinds of people. You want to solve crime. You want to build your country. You need skilled workers. You need smart people. You need people who can add to your economy. Get the best the same way America filters out the worst and take the best. Guyana and Trinidad filter out the worst and take the best. You know who the worst are. The worst are the fucking niggas, empty-headed, who glorify blood and crime and thinks walking with a gun is a trend, is a fashion accessory. They're the worst. You don't need them. And I stand by what I say. If you are offended, go and fuck yourself. I make no apologies. None whatsoever. So, share this live. I want to hear from you in the comment section. Give me the thumbs up. I need to see like 100, 200, 300, 500 likes. And your comments, I need to see maybe 200, 300 comments. That's you supporting the channel. With your comments, with your likes, with your shares. That's how you support the channel. And your subscription. You know, you subscribe. So I'll give it another shot. There are people who again, they said, Doc, look, I'm not rich, but I want to support you. I want to donate. I want to. So I'll put my ego aside. I'll forget the ego. All right, you're right. I should be humble. Okay, every little subscription is good. I'll post on the Facebook uploads and the other uploads. I'll post the Zelle number again. I'll put it there, and you can make whatever donations you can. I understand a lot of people, especially in Guyana, don't have that Zelle account. Is just based in North America for the persons there who have it, and not everybody has it. Uh, there are no other means besides Western Union, besides wire money, money transfer, MoneyGram or Western Union. There's no other thing I'm aware of where you can transfer money. So I don't know. Maybe you guys should suggest to me what I need, well, how I can, what else I can have so that you can make donations easy. But for now, it's just the Zelle and Western Union and MoneyGram. I'm not aware of any other thing. So you see, I'm putting my ego aside. I'm not being arrogant. So I'll post that shortly, and then you can go ahead and give your donations. I welcome it. I'm grateful. I'm thankful for that. We need to keep Guyana safe and stop obsessing over this criminal, biggest criminal, and obsess over the pride that we have. And that's our beautiful president, President Irfan Ali, and our beautiful Priya Manikchand. You know what they said the other day? Why do you only focus on the Indo-Guyanese in the PPP? What happened to the blacks? The PPP has black ministers. What about the vice president? What was it? The prime minister. And what about? I did talk about the Home Affairs minister, didn't I? She's black. And besides, the prime minister, the soldier, I'm not impressed with him. I never was. I don't like the guy. I mean, if you're going to put a black man as prime minister, I mean, you don't need to repeat Sam Hines. You could put somebody that a little more marketable. I mean, you put Norton and the Mark Phillips. Do they always have to be from Linden? Can you find a prime minister from some other part of the country, like West Coast? Can you? Or Barbies? Please. So you see, I just mentioned the prime minister, the black guy. But like I said, I'm not impressed. Okay? The man is a PPP, but I'm not impressed with Mark Phillips as prime minister. The man can't speak. Okay? He's not attractive. He can't speak. He's not presentable. He's not marketable. You want me to go on? Should I continue? He's not marketable. I don't know how he got that position. All right? Find somebody else in the future that can sell, that can rival. Well, Ali's not going back after, sadly, he's not going to be, he ain't getting a third term. We should push for that, but he ain't get a third term. But put somebody to rival Priya Manikchand, not a woman. They want a black woman as prime minister. Too many niggas, too many black people already. If you're going to put a black man, I mean, come on, put somebody to rival her, to complement her. So there it is. I talked about them. Anyway, thanks for your attention. Have a good day. Goodbye.